Oh, sorry about that. What's up, Pawn family? It's Yigal. I wanted to go live really quickly here because I'm hearing a lot of stuff happening with the looting going on. And I want to bring on Tony Gallo, who is one of the security experts in Pawn. He's been around for 25 years. And to give us kind of like what's going on the ground, what he's hearing from his clients over there, and what you can do to better protect your business. If you're watching, let us know where you're from, what store you're with. I'm going to bring in Tony Gallo. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tony Gallo. What's up, brother?
How are you? How's everything going today?
Doing really well. Let me just make sure that we've got all of the audio working correctly. If you guys can hear us, let me know. It says no audio. 1 second. Can you guys hear Tony?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Let me see why this isn't working. 1 second. Let me turn this off.
All right.
All right. Can you guys hear us? Let
How
me know
about now?
Yeah. So you might want to jump off and on to hear us. Awesome. Cool. You guys can hear us. Great.
Good.
So Tony Gallo, thank you for taking the time. Last minute to jump in here. I appreciate it. And let us know what's happening on the ground, what you're hearing, and then we'll get into what people can do to better kind of protect their business.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. So it's been a very interesting 24 hours, to say the least. We've had numerous clients that I've spoken to, numerous pawnbrokers. As of right now, I'm aware of 11 pawn shops that have been affected in that area. I know of 3 of them that have experienced significant problems to the point where their buildings have been completely burnt down. I know several who have had their stores completely looted. I was talking to one pawnbroker earlier today, and their camera system was still up and running, and they counted 34 break-ins throughout the night and this morning. We saw some video on some of our Facebook channels of complete theft of everything going out there. Again, a lot of challenging out there. It's not, unfortunately, it's not something that's new to the pawn industry. We've seen it in hurricane situations. When I was the director of security for Easy Pawn and Hurricane Katrina, we had multiple stores that had looting problems after the hurricane. Joplin, Missouri during a tornado. South Central LA years ago during the riots. So again, it seems that during those pawn shops, jewelry stores, they're targeted, and unfortunately, a lot of times to get in because there's just no police activity at the scene.
Got it. So 11 stores have been affected. A couple have actually been burned to the ground, like you said.
Correct.
One comment that one of the videos that I saw, give me 1 second. People are saying that they can't hear us. Let me make sure that. So I'm watching it from my phone, guys. I can hear it perfectly. It might be on your side of the system. Just try to jump in and out and see what we can do. But if not, I'll have this recorded and I'll post it again, just in case. So I've also heard that like one of the videos that one of the pawnbrokers put on, they broke into the TL30. They got through it. That's happening as well. So when people think that their stuff is safe because they're in a vault, people are still breaking in, they're still stealing everything, they're burning stuff to the ground, and that's a big issue.
Yeah, and what I have seen so far, and I'm not questioning it. In fact, I did have conversations with a couple of pawnbrokers about it. I have not seen a TL safe breach. Now, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I do have 2 pawn shops that when their roofs collapsed, the TL safe was in there and they were not breached. Now, I have seen a couple of gun safes that have been breached and a couple of non-TL safes that were breached in some video. So I'm not aware of it. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but from what I understand from my clients, none of the TL rated safes have been breached at this point.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah, so And that's kind of what we've always preached. If you looked at any of the articles that I published or any kind of best practices of security in the pawn industry, during a situation like this where you're going to have to leave and be gone for a period of time, whether it's a natural disaster or a civil disturbance, you want to be able to fill your safe, your TL rated safe, as with everything you possibly can. Unlike normally when you go home, you may not be putting everything in there, but even things like one of the videos I saw, they stole personal photos and things of that nature. If you're going to leave the location, you're going to be gone, whether it's a hurricane or a civil disturbance, I always say use your safe as a lifeboat, basically. And I've seen that countless times. Again, I probably have dealt with close to 50 of these situations in the pawn industry over the last 20 years. And it's very difficult for the people that are looting, the individuals that we're seeing now, to get into a TL rated safe, even to the point where one of my clients that I've been working with had actually sent a crew to try and board up the windows. And when they got there, there were people inside, and they were grinding onto the TL safe, using grinders to try and get in, trying to cut the hinges off. And they came back this morning and they never did get into the safe.
Got it. That's good to hear. So let's talk about this, Tony. Obviously, this is happening right now in a couple of cities. I heard that the looting is kind of expanding from where it was the last couple of days. I also heard that because there was a pawnbroker who shot and killed one of the looters, that the looters are kind of going after pawn shops. Is that something that you've heard before?
I heard that. I don't know if there's any credence to that. It is unusual to see and hear about 11, and that's just the ones I know of. Could be much more than 11, and the number of jewelry stores, and also to have that number of actual devastation that's occurring. So it's very practical, very possible what you're saying is true. I heard from one of the individuals who was talking to the state police that supposedly the St. Cloud area, which is a good 40 minutes away from where the disturbance is supposed to be targeted tonight. So I don't know anyone who's in the St. Cloud area might want to take those precautions. My client in St. Cloud area actually has removed all of their jewelry from their TL rated safe and is shipping it has taken it out of the store.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's talk about what people can do. If they're close by or if they're kind of fearing. What are like the top 3 things that a pawnbroker should do to protect? Obviously, when a looter comes in, they're destroying a bunch of stuff. What would you recommend for the pawnbrokers listening today to do?
It's kind of, if you think about what I've always been preaching, it's being the proactive point of it. It's very difficult. I used to get calls from Florida, the hurricane is coming and they're going to go to Home Depot and buy the wood. Well, everyone else is going to do the same thing. So you need to buy that wood a month before the hurricane actually is coming and be ready and prepared and all of that. So, 3 things. First of all, from a reactive point of view, it's today, you own a pawn shop, you're concerned it's going to happen. There's only so much you can do, obviously. First thing I would do is I would strongly advise that you do not stay in the pawn shop. I would strongly advise that you get out, that you let your insurance deal with it, or let the pieces fall where they may. And the first thing I would do is I would be prepared to be gone for several days. Load up your safe. Like I said, load your safe. That the individuals that are attacking today that I'm seeing in the looting are not experienced safe crackers. They're not going to get into your safe. They're probably not even going to get into a gun safe. They're really there just to get as much as they possibly can. So fill the safe with everything you can possibly, cram it as much as you can. Step number 1. Make sure you have good phone numbers with everyone you can. If you can board up your store, board up your store. If you can put chains on your doors, put chains on your door. If you can find a way to make it a little more difficult for them to get in, then do that. One of the pawnbrokers today I saw in the video, he had a great idea. He had that shatterproof 3M film. It took 20 minutes for them to get in. Normally, that would have been more enough time for someone to get in. And then once they breached it, then everything else broke loose, and that's when it happened. Here's the other thing I would strongly recommend. because we've seen this in fires and we've seen it in other situations. If you can get and take your active loan tickets with you, take them at home, take them out of the location, secure them somewhere, because now the situation is you're going to have to do these loan restitution with the client. You want to make sure that you have proper documentation that you can discuss what they brought in compared to what your records are showing. So if you can do that. But number one thing, get out of that store. Do not try and be a hero, and then go for the future on being proactive.
Yeah, love that. So one thing that popped into mind is, if you're a store who has a server at the store, make a backup, take it home. I know a lot of people who make backups to their information and they store it inside the store.
Or just take the server home.
Yeah, or just take the server home. Something where like you're not stuck with the information there.
Yeah.
And one thing that I just thought of was, at Cashco, I know Morris is watching. We have rolling gates on the front of the store. It might be a good idea to put some rolling gates on the back door, because in the videos I saw today, they had people coming through the back door and jimmying the back doors open and coming in as well.
Yeah, so. And again, if these are the proactive points, if you had a roll down door, obviously you want to do that. You want to make it very difficult for the individuals to come in, and they're going to go down the street. If there's 3 pawn shops and yours is much harder to get into, then they'll go to the other pawn shop or the other jewelry store or the convenience store. So just make it lock all your doors throughout the whole building. Lock your doors. Lock your bathroom door. Lock everything you possibly can. Put something up against the safe if you can.
Yeah. And for those of you who are watching who haven't taken this time, I talked about the pawn reset button being hit. This is the time to look at your security. This is the time to, up-level your procedures so that, God forbid, if something does happen, that you're more prepared, ever prepared for what happens, but that you're more prepared. And I can't imagine being this gentleman watching his video o'clock in the morning and seeing 30 years go up in flames.
Yeah.
And this building wasn't burned, but you're telling me that 3 stores that just burned to the ground.
Right.
Oh, that makes my stomach hurt. That just makes my, it's crazy.
Right, and that's a challenge now that you're going to start seeing tonight, is people are going to be going into pawn shops that have already been looted, and there's nothing left except a whole pile of loan tickets laying on the floor. It's very possible that we might have a couple more pawn shops burned down tonight. Yeah,
man. So if you guys have a question, we have tons of people watching. If you guys have a question, please put it into the chat. Let us know if I'm sure Tony will, if somebody has a question and you're on the replay, just write #replay and ask a question. I'm sure I'll tag Tony in this so that he can answer any questions. Tony, I'm sure you're busy getting text messages and phone calls from people. I want to let you go. Thank you so much for letting us know what's happening on the ground, and what we can do to better stay safe and protect our pawn shops.
Thank you for having me on.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye. All right, Pawn family. So with that said, please, please, please don't just listen to this. Take action, right? We've been talking about secure. We had Tony Gallo on the podcast a year and a half ago, and we talked about being proactive. We talked about, preparing your store for the worst. And a lot of people always say, like, oh, we're not in an area that's going to happen. I spoke with a pawnbroker today that said, we have minimal risk. Nothing's really going to happen to us. Well, you just never know what's going to happen. It's not in your control. What's in your control is to be proactive and to be prepared. That's it. To be proactive and be prepared. And a lot of people think like, oh, that's a waste of money. Again, for me, it's always an investment when you invest in your safety, when you invest in the way you learn. We're talking with Tony to be on the Power Up on the online event. So he'll be there hopefully to talk more in depth about what you can do to better protect your pawn shop. But again, ladies and gentlemen, we have a big target on our backs. We're pawn shops. And once word gets out of what and how much these people found in the back rooms, they're going to go after more of them. So please be safe, stay healthy, stay safe. Love you all. And thank you so much for watching this live video so quickly. Awesome, Perry. So Perry said, the door to my server room doesn't have a dibble. I just ordered one today. Good for you. Richard Dan. For those of you who are watching, Morris, Rob Burnett, Scott Sawyer, Bruno Moses Wilson, Lisa Little, Jonathan Blader, Emmanuel de Jesus Perez, Susan, Joey, Who else is here? Nicholas, what's up, man? Raphael, what's up? Thanks for being here. Richard Dan, Perry Lewin. Thanks for watching, guys. Super important. I know this was super last minute. Some people were saying that there wasn't sound. I'll go ahead and put up the replay. There should be sound. It shouldn't affect it in any way. But have an incredible weekend. And if I can get anybody else on, I will let you guys know quickly, and I'll just do a live. And if you can watch it live, great. If you can't, hopefully you can watch it on the replay. Richard, has this happened anywhere else? I am hearing from sources that it is like the looting is growing, that it's happening in a couple of other states. So it has happened in a couple of other places. Obviously, it's in the nucleus right now, and it's kind of growing outwards. So we just want to, protect the pawnbrokers who are close and who are anywhere around the nation today, tomorrow, and for the future. So awesome. All right, guys, take care.